I'm really amazed with this camera. When I've looked online, I was able to discover that this camera was selling under $350, and also it has a great price, brand new. And the lenses also have great prices on the used market, but also brand new. And I'm really loving this camera. I'm using it over 6 months, I think, or even more, for photography, street photography, videography, and I've discovered lots of things about it, and I want to share with you my impressions and if you should get one if you are a beginner or if you are just passionate about good cameras. So let's talk about this now. Hi there and welcome to my channel. My name is Tudor Matescu, and in this video I want to share with you my findings about this camera. And yes, I'm really amazed how this camera is acting after half a year at least, I think, from when I've bought it. You are able to see that I'm using this camera for B-rolls, but also I've used this camera in photography, street photography, and I've compared it with my full frame camera. And I'm really shocked how good is this camera, how much functions this camera has, and what good image quality I get from the camera and video quality. So let's talk about this camera and why I do recommend to get one if you are a beginner and if you want your first camera. So you are able to see now that in hand I have this camera paired with a lens that has aperture clicks, nice aperture clicks, very nice aperture clicks. This is a Sigma lens, a 45mm f2.8 Sigma lens that is rendering great images on this APS-C camera, because this is an APS-C camera. And the APS-C camera, it is Sony a6400. And I will compare Sony a6400 against Sony a7C, and I will tell you if I'm liking more this Sony a6400 compared to Sony a7C. So stay tuned because my findings are very, very interesting. So first of all, what I like about this camera and why I've decided to buy it. It has a tilt screen and also it has a flip over screen, great for video work over the table or if you use the camera like a vlogger. So the screen is very usable for me. I don't like tilt screens like on Sony a7C. I'm really not a big fan of tilt screens. For me, the tilt screen and this implementation is one of the greatest things about this camera. It's really, really great. I know about the microphone problems, but there are solutions there. And who is vlogging nowadays with a camera like this? So anyway, in studio, great for over-the-table video, but also for filming yourself using this camera on a tripod. So the screen, it's a totally great screen, and I will tell you immediately what a great trick I found on this camera. Also, I like the colors. The colors are really, really great. Compared to my Sony full frame cameras, I feel that the colors aren't so hard to be processed from the raw files. So the colors are really above a full frame Sony a7C, Sony a7R3A camera, because I don't know, it's easier to get the colors where you want on Sony a6400. I don't have those polluted colors like on a full frame camera. On Sony a7C, the colors are okay, but I feel that on Sony a6400 are even better, and probably the next models are even better. So probably it's easier on a smaller sensor to keep the colors in place, to have a correct white balance. So I don't know, but personally I'm really liking the colors and what I am able to get from a raw file, but also I'm liking the JPEGs more from the 6400. So a great camera regarding ergonomics, AF, colors and JPEGs. But now let's talk about how this camera is acting in street photography. So first of all, I'm loving very much how this camera is operating in street photography, but also in photography in general, because we have an okay-ish EVF and also we have the tilt screen. And this tilt screen, it's a big, big deal for me. It's not a flip screen. Next, we have enough control dials and buttons to get the camera where we want. If we will use a lens with aperture clicks, like Sony is making and like Sigma full frame is making, you'll get great ergonomics on the camera. And the next big big advantage here is that you have a very silent mechanical shutter. I'm really loving the mechanical shutter that is very, very silent. Let's compare it to Sony a7C. So the mechanical shutter is very silent, as a leaf shutter almost. So no worries that you'll disturb the subject or a scene. So great silent mechanical shutter. The next big advantage in photography is that being an APS-C camera, you can still use the electronical shutter and not get bending like on a full-frame camera. So I don't have bending like on a full-frame camera when I'm using the electronical shutter, and also I don't have that flicker problems like on a full-frame camera. On a full-frame camera, Sony a7C, Sony a7R, 3A and so on, you are forced to use full mechanical shutter for not getting flickering in your image and for not getting bending and having a deformed subject. So, big deal, big deal. Now let's talk about the image quality in photography, where this is where the camera is really shining, because when I was comparing this camera to my Fujifilm files and to my Sony full-frame files, I was able to see how you are able to see on the screen that the images are really great. They have that glossy look, that clear look, that Sony full-frame look, and you don't have noise and grain that is not pleasing on a screen. So the APS-C sensor from this body, it is better in delivering great fashionable images like on a full-frame camera. In good light, I get consistent results, consistent glossy images. It's something that you could want if you want to do event photography, if you want to do wedding photography, and if you want to do black and white photography. I feel I get consistent results, nice tonalities in black and white, and great colors, especially with cobalt profiles with Fujifilm colors on the camera. I can install them and the images are looking great. The next thing that I really don't like so much, but I can't blame the camera, is that in low light situation the sensor is noisier, but it has an edge. So I will say this is it. If you want better low light performance and better low light noise, you can use the next generation cameras. But also the camera has an advantage. Yes, it's noisier compared to the latest Fujifilm cameras and compared to a full frame Sony a7C camera, but you can get rid of the noise pretty easy in Adobe Lightroom. So it's able to deliver even if it's not such a new camera. So regarding image quality, for the price and for what it delivers, it's a great camera. Now, the next thing that I want to address in photography and in street photography, but also in wedding photography, because yes, this camera, it is so good that you can use it for wedding photography with a good f1.4 APS-C dedicated lens, or even with a full frame lens if you have a full frame lens and if you want to go to the next level, because I will talk at the lenses. So in AF, you can use the touch shutter. I will show you how the touch shutter is working with a B-roll, and I'm really liking how they implemented the touch shutter. So for using the touch shutter, you must go in the menu, activate touch shutter options, activate touch function on, and then press that little button, and when the red line will appear, you'll have the option to touch and take pictures. Touch and take pictures with AF. And we are not talking about Fujifilm AF, we are not talking about an old camera AF, even if it's an old camera. We are talking about Sony AF. So Sony AF, I've tested this camera in low light photography, where it's hardest to take pictures with AF and have a great AF, and the camera with touch shutter totally delivered. If you are a subscriber to my channel, you know that I'm really liking Olympus cameras for this and Lumix GX9 for this, but I feel this is better now because we are talking about APS-C quality, very good quality, and the touch function, it's working flawlessly. Yes, it's not instantly as on a Ricoh camera or as on a Olympus Lumix GX9 camera, but it is sufficient fast. You don't have a lag that will disturb you, like on X-T30 or like on X Pro 3, like on other Fujifilm cameras, or like on X-T5. On X-T5 I have a lag that is making the screen unusable for touch shutter. Here the lag is not a big deal. So it's very easily for me to take the decisive moment with AF by touching the screen and taking the picture. So this is a very big deal, very big deal. So I was really impressed that Sony was able to make this implementation and make the camera work so well. So in street photography, this is a pleasure to use. You really don't have any constraint regarding focus acquisition, regarding tilt screen, regarding shutter sound. So no constraint at all. Just think about composition or just relax and take pictures. So this camera will not put you in a position, what are the settings, what settings I must do to take the picture, to have the picture in focus and so on. No, just make one time the settings and you'll get great images. Next, video quality. For video, it's sufficient what I have here. I will not enter in the specs, it's not needed. The camera has great AF in video, it has great AF in video, and it's helping me mount the camera over the top with all kinds of devices because it's very light. And with this amazing power zoom from Sony, I can do all the videography I need over the table or directly vlogging style. So for video, it has great specs. It was praised over the years for video work, so I don't have anything to add. It's just a great video machine also, but my discoveries are especially in the photography field. Talking about photography, let's talk about lenses for the Sony a6400. So there are lots of discussion about dedicated APS-C lenses. Sony now has dedicated APS-C lenses. You have dedicated third-party lenses, but also you have the full-frame lenses. My experience with the full-frame lenses is that the full-frame lenses on Sony a6400 and of course on the other models will deliver great results, no problems in AF, no problems in image quality. I'm really loving the image quality from my full frame lenses. Probably it will be interesting in time to compare a full frame lens with an APS-C dedicated lens to see which image quality and which image rendering I love more. But for the moment, my preferred lens on Sony a6400 is Sony 35mm f1.8. This lens, it will give me a 56mm field of view. It is focusing very fast. The images are very sharp and are looking great. Also, I'm loving the Sigma 45mm f2.8 and I've tested a little the Sigma 90mm f2.8. Great images. Tamron 28 to 75mm f2.8. Great AF, great images. Any lens, and I've tested all my full frame lenses, delivered great results and great AF results. All these lenses and also this camera can be bought from the used market at bargain prices. So this is where this camera with these lenses it's coming into play. You can buy it brand new or from the used market at again very good prices. Should you buy this camera brand new or should you buy it from the used market? Well, it depends. It depends on how you want warranty and how much budget do you have. If you don't have budget for the camera brand new, go from the used market and find a good offer. But from my point of view, the Amazon prices at this moment are really great, So the prices are really worth it because you will not be able to find an under $800 camera like this, brand new, that is offering so much versatility in photography and in videography. This camera, it's not just for the passionate photographer. This camera can also be used for an entry-level pro photographer. The images that I get with f1.8 lenses, I'm not talking about f1.4 lenses. The images that I get with f1.8 lenses, but even with f2.8 lenses, are really amazing. The AF is not making you any troubles in photography and in videography, and also the colors will not make you problems in editing, being video or photo. The JPEGs are great, the black and white files are great, and you have all the options that you need. The battery is lasting okay. I'm not constrained about the battery size. It's okay. I'm always using 2 batteries and this is sufficient for me. And all it's great. If you want a better camera, of course the next Sony a6400 models are better, but this is sufficient, and for the price it's a great starting package. So I'm really recommending this camera. It's a really great camera that I'm really glad that I've bought it, and I must tell you that I'm loving more a6400 compared to a7C. Why? Because silent mechanical shutter, still screen, nice colors, great AF, very portable, and AF in lots of situations it seems a little better than my full frame camera. I don't know how this is possible, but this is my subjective opinion. So I'm totally recommending this camera, and if you are liking videos like this and if you want to buy something from the gear that I'm using, please use my Amazon affiliate links, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my newsletter, share my video and check my next video. Thank you and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.